Okay, you guys, so it is Saturday, and I know I'm late on this episode 3 recap of Palantir that expired on Friday. But if you've been watching Palantir, you watched episode 3, you already know that we was in the play, and that shit was a bust. And we lost $49 from that 50. And hey, I ain't even tripping, y'all. Palantir did this thing. And like I said, we're going to win some and we're going to lose some. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the charts and we're going to look at where we entered and why I did not exit when we went from where we entered all the way down to like that 109 or almost to 109. And keep in mind, we went out of the money. That whole thing was from an idea someone on my Limit 8 account gave me. And the reason why we did not see as much profit as we would have seen when Palantir pushed down on the 30th, at market open, we should have been able to get out. But because we were so far out of the money, it wasn't even fucking possible. And it was possible, but it wouldn't have made sense to do because it just wouldn't have made no damn sense to get out. So we're going to get the charts real quick. Look at what happened and, pretty much just get into what happened next. All right, so let's look at this real quick. So you see where I got this red box set. Okay, this is where we entered on the 28th. Okay, up here at this 115 level. Now, keep in mind, our play was it won't say so far out of the money, but we were crazy out of the money that our delta wasn't even 10 cents. It was what, 8 cents, I believe. And so we could not expect a whole lot of movement. So you see where I had this line here. I was like, okay, we would need to at least get here to begin to see some profits on our play, but we would still need to pull back at least to that 106, 105 area because we had $101 strike. Okay, we got in at 115. So because we went out of the money and got a $50 put, we could not expect a whole lot unless a significant move was made. But we was up here, okay? It did come back down here to this level at about 110. But yes, I was watching it, and y'all, it was only up $2.50 when it came down there. That's just how low our delta was. So it was not seeing a whole lot of movement going from that 115 to this 109. We needed to see this shit pull all the way back to at least get about $10 profit on that move, but it did not move. But baby, when it got back down here to that 110, Palantir went off. We went from here, we pushed back up to that 115. We pushed back up here to 118. If you've seen any of my posts or other videos, you may have seen some of the levels that I was kind of anticipating on Palantir. And we pushed back up here. Remember, Palantir's all-time high was about 125, 126, and we are back up there nearing those all-time highs. And so therefore, that play was horrible. Now, if we had did it like we did our first two plays, in the money and at the money, this pullback from 115 to 110 would have got us our goal profit and we could have gotten out of that thing. But I decided to let it ride out and to see just how far back we can get that pullback versus selling, because we also got to look at the fees that Robinhood was going to charge for having the contract in general. And then when we do sell it, it may not be that exact. And it wasn't worth selling at $2.50. Okay. So that is just why, or just one of those reasons why I like to stick within the money and at the money plays and high delta, so that pullback from that 115 to this 109 right here would have put us at our goal amount on the 30th, and we probably would have been out of that play. But this thing shot right back up, and Palantir is really, really, really doing its thing. So I'm not tripping about it, y'all. Okay, we went into this particular play at $317 minus the 54, the strike that we got into. So we down 49 from that, and we are still in the game though. So that's the most important thing on our series account. Okay, not risking the whole thing, staying in the game and staying as close to the share price as we can within the money strikes or at the money strikes, or not going too far out. So we got some damn good deltas to capitalize on some moves. Had we been in it at the money or in the money, we would have been able to see a decent amount of profit going from here to that 109. We probably would have been able to exit on that morning when the market opened, and we could have been done with that play. But this from here to here, and that pullback was like $2.50, y'all. So, and that's just that, y'all. So look, we are going to get ready for our next play, and I am not tripping whatsoever on that $49. That is no emotional attachment to that $49. That's one rule in trading. no emotional attachments to the money, because we never know how shit is going to go, even when we are our most confident. We saw what happened with Liberation Day when we were expecting another Black Monday, and shit went the complete opposite. You cannot have emotional attachments to anything when it comes to investing, as well as option trading or future trading, crypto, no matter what type of trading you're doing. Lose the emotions when you are doing your trading, because one of the things you got to know is that Palantir is not off the radar. When I got into got those five contracts back in February, when it hit that all-time high at 125, I wrote that shit all the way down to $78, and I sold my last contract at 78. Palantir went from 125 to like $66. So that's what I want you to keep on your radar, or just to kind of keep in your notes. When such massive pullback like that happens, there's a high possibility that once it gets back up to that 125, it will break that old high. Okay, because the Bears just might be waiting at that 125 to push it back down, but we just might see a breakthrough of that 125 before that happens. Or we just keep reacting to what we see on the charts to see how Palantir plays out, because hey, it's new. It's back up at an all-time high. We don't have no data to go by above 125 to tell us where it might be going next. So we just kind of have to let it ride out and see what happens. But I'm not tripping. We are going back to the charts. I got a couple of ideas of some of our next plays and what we can look at. But hey, Palantir is not off the radar by long shot. I'm keeping it. I'm watching it to see what happens. It's possible that we can get into another play like I did back in February, or we just kind of look at something else until Palantir plays those top out for me. All right. So I hope you guys have a damn good Saturday. I got to get to the post office, get these trading journals out, and then just do what I do. All right. So enjoy the Saturday, enjoy your Sunday, get your plans ready for Monday, and I hope you guys have a killer trading week.